In this episode, we're going to be talking about orders and actions. In Antares 2, there are 6 orders, and they are as follows: fire, advance, run, rally, ambush, and down. With a fire order, a unit chooses not to move to gain an accuracy bonus with shooting. An advance order sacrifices accuracy for mobility. A unit may move up to its move characteristic and then shoot. A run order allows a unit to move twice its move characteristic, but it can't do anything else. This is also how charges are made. As part of a run order, a unit can also choose to sprint, allowing them to move triple their movement characteristic, but at the risk of exhausting themselves. With an ambush order, a unit forgoes its own movement and shooting in order to react to an enemy order. With a rally order, a unit forgoes moving or shooting to just take a moment and take a breather and remove its own pins. Finally, with a down order, your units hug the dirt, forcing your opponent to re-roll shots against them.
Order tests.
For the most part, when your units receive an order, they perform it automatically. The exception to this is when they've received pins. If a unit has pins, they must perform an order test before they actually perform the action that you want them to do. An order test is a D10 roll in which you must roll lower than your unit's command test minus their pins. For example, if a unit has 8 command and 1 pin, you have to roll a 7 or lower. If you pass this order, your unit removes a single pin and their order is carried out. If you pass with a 1, you remove 2 pins and the order is carried out. If the test is failed, you still remove 1 pin, but your unit is forced to take a down order. If you roll a 10, you have the worst luck ever and your unit is forced down and they don't remove any pins. There are a few exceptions to this rule. The one that comes up probably the most often is the rally order, in which you don't have to subtract your pins from your command. If you succeed the test, a D6 pins is removed on top of the 1 pin that is already removed for passing a test. If you're super lucky and roll a 1, an additional pin is removed on top of that, making a total D6 plus 2 pins, which is probably going to be all your pins.
Recovering dice.
Once both players have performed all of their actions with all of their units, the end turn phase begins. At some point during this phase, players will recover all of their dice from the field and place them back in the bag. This usually happens automatically. However, there is an exception to this rule for units with down orders. Units that are down may either choose to retain their down order, at which point they lose a pin and their order dice remains on the field, or attempt to recover it using a recovery test. When making a recovery test, a unit must make a command test that is affected by their pins. On a pass, the unit returns their dice to the bag and they lose a pin. If you pass with a 1, you return your dice to the bag and remove 2 pins. If you fail the test, it's essentially like you've retained the down order. Your dice stays on the field and you remove a pin. But if you roll a 10, you're probably going to be kicking yourself because you not only retain the order, you don't lose any pins at all. Now, you'll notice that recovery tests and order tests seem very similar, but it's important to note that they are 2 separate things. Rules that affect one may not necessarily affect the other. The last thing to note for this phase regarding orders is that some other orders can be retained, such as the run order for fast units and the ambush order for everyone else.
Retaining orders.
The last thing to note as far as this phase goes and orders is that some orders can be retained just like a down order, most notably the run order for fast units and the ambush order for everybody else. These orders are retained automatically without testing, but you do not lose pins when you do it. It's important to note that with retained run and ambush orders, you don't have to pass an order test to perform that action in the following turn. And that was the basic rundown of orders in Antares 2. However, each of these orders is significantly more complicated than that and will be broken down in further videos.
Thank you for watching. Do not forget you can find all of this information in the free downloadable rulebooks on the new Antares Nexus, link in the description below. And if you want to help support our channel in the easiest way possible, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you have notifications enabled. And as always,
We'll see you on the tabletop.